Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Should I Play That? With Chris and Rod. What's going on, Rod?
Oh, nothing much. I'm really enjoying every week hearing that lovely intro you do.
Oh, man. And, you know what's funny? I always, try not to overthink it, but then 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds before I do it, I'm like, crap, what am I going to say? But then, the My Hero Academia theme song, and You Say Run, just starts playing in the background of my head. And I just go with the flow, sort of like what I'm doing right now. But anyways, it's March the 8th if you're listening to this live, or I guess when it drops on Friday. And this is episode 2.
Episode 2.
Should I play that?
Yeah.
So, man, this is starting to become like a thing where after, I feel like we did a good pre-launch. We did enough things to sort of get into a groove where now this feels like it's a second nature, and I'm loving it right now.
Exactly. You want to get in that comfort level, you want to be able to kick off your shoes, prop your feet up, have a good time. I think it's great. It's great.
Yeah. And with me jumping back into this, I have people that didn't know that I did this, amazed that I'm doing stuff like this. Some people that are asking me questions on if they wanted to start do their own thing, or they've already started doing it but they want to upgrade their game. Just all in all pro tip for anybody that's wanting to do it: just do it. The biggest thing that's stopping you is you.
Yep, absolutely. Just do it and try to keep it as consistent as possible. That's really the key. And that's what we're trying to do presently.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to go ahead and roll into our... Actually, no, before we even roll into that, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Darian, who helped us out with our Kingdom Hearts live stream on Sunday, this past Sunday. Granted, if you guys go to the Facebook page and listen to it, the audio is a little jacked up. So unfortunately, if you're hoping for an audio version... it's just, I don't know, for me personally, it's not up to par to what I want to put on, the audio versions. The quality is really out of whack. So I apologize for that. But if you do want to see it, if you do want to take part of the conversation, it is still on our Facebook. And that's Should I Play That on Facebook. You'll see the logo pop up. Click on it. Follow and like, because those are two different things. But definitely, I appreciate Darian for helping us out with that, and then also people that tuned in during the episode. So that was a quick shout out for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so now that we're actually back into the groove of things, yo, Rod, what you been playing?
I finished Anthem. We finished Anthem.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that very briefly, because to be honest, last time we were on the show, I talked about how Anthem. I was going to come back to it and give an update on if anything changed with the end.
Okay. Did anything change? How are you feeling about it? Did it live up to what you were hoping it was gonna be? Is the end game just that good?
You ever seen Arrested Development and Ron Howard? He does that line where like somebody will be saying something and they'll be like, oh man, George Michael was having such a great day, and he hoped that that everything was going to continue going his way, and then maybe George Michael actually says that in the show, and then Ron Howard says he didn't.
Yep.
That's basically my answer to your question. It wasn't.
Oh,
It was nothing really changed with Anthem towards the end. I mean, there were all right, look, I think that some of the none of the story beats really landed for me, but there was a few characters I thought were okay, and I think the character work, I saw that what they were trying to lay out with what they were doing narratively. I don't think it's a total misfire. I think some of it is also due to how the narrative is presented to you. You don't really experience the story with other people. You more experience it kind of on your own. So much of it is conveyed through these Fort Tarsis moments, the hub world, that you just, I mean, it's not like something like Destiny where you're seeing all the cutscenes and all the cinematic events at the exact same time. It really, Anthem kind of feels a little cold and a little lonely sometimes in that regard, and that's kind of a bummer. So a lot of those narrative beats didn't really land for me super well, but I think the characters looked good. I think I love the graphics, kind of like what I was saying before. I thought graphically it looked really nice. The environmental effects great. Kind of the same stuff that I was saying last week still applies here. The flying is still great, but there's not much of an end game though. Like you asked about end game, and there isn't much of one, right? Like, I mean, what do you think, Chris?
I mean, they'll give you masterwork weapons to sort of, make builds, which I feel like is what the end game is right now. Is for the most part, these masterwork abilities and weapons that drop will pretty much give that weapon an extra perk that'll make sense in like a particular build. So like when I started doing my end game grind, I got a masterwork machine pistol that whenever I shot something at close, point blank range, I would get double damage, double melee damage.
Yeah.
So, who's a melee class? The interceptor. So you could build like a melee build for the interceptor with something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and what are the weapons though? Like, I mean, like the
Oh,
weapons are the same thing,
yeah,
right?
so they're basically the same weapons you've used throughout the
Yeah.
game, just with
Yeah.
an extra perk. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You get like two more strongholds, which are the game's versions of Destiny Strikes, right? Like, you get that. They haven't released a raid yet. I'm not even certain if that is coming at any point. Maybe they've confirmed that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's out in May.
Oh my God. Wow. So yeah, I mean, there's not much more to the game other than that, grinding out those masterwork weapons and rerunning the strongholds about a billion times, and maybe finishing up the side missions that maybe you didn't get to. I've uninstalled the game. I still own it. I'm undecided if I'm going to continue owning it. I'm kind of curious. I'm very curious on like what they do for the future. I'm contemplating keeping the disc and maybe seeing down the road like what all entails, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. It was a game that felt a lot like work. I think I said that last week too, but it felt like work. It never really got to a higher plane for me, and it just kind of kept this really, really low baseline throughout from beginning to end for me. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame. I wanted to love this game.
Yeah, I mean, I already, deleted my game and traded in towards my next big mistake. Which, you know what? I'm not even gonna say that. I have faith that this next game I'm gonna get is gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which sort of segues into our. Well, no, before we segue into the next section, just last bit on Anthem is that I feel like at this point, I feel like I'm technically done talking about Anthem. It
Yeah.
feels like every other day there's a major bug that's
Mhm.
making people's PlayStations blow up. There's a bug that like your level 1 weapons actually do more damage than your end game weapons will do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like none of this is surprising. Like the game is a dumpster fire at this point. So let's just let it die. Like I I feel like I've gotten everything out of this game that I could. So
Yeah.
when I see that a new news article about, Anthem pops up, or if I'm on YouTube and I see someone making a video about it, I will scroll right past it. Like
Mm. Mm.
completely.
Yeah,
Like
I feel similarly. Like this game is. There were a couple stories today that we were contemplating talking about, and I mean, th- I don't think that we're really going to devote a lot of time talking to this game for the foreseeable future until like until BioWare releases new content for it. I just don't see a reason why we should continue to spend all this time, discussing and dissecting and ultimately disliking Anthem. Like why spend so much time on something that we're clearly not enjoying? The show should be about things that we do like. I mean, obviously we're gonna consume things that we don't like and talk about it. Like that's just gonna be a part of the show and what we do. But I mean, I feel like there's nothing more to add at this point. Everyone and their mother is like writing about this game, and generally about how lackluster it is. And there are people who are enjoying it,
that's
and that's cool.
that's
But
funny you say that. I have a friend of mine. We were on the PlayStation chat,
Mhm. Mhm.
and literally his mother sent him a text about Anthem bricking PS4s. So yeah, like that's he doesn't even play Anthem. That's the wild part. It's just that I guess I guess it hit Facebook. So you know how older
Yeah.
people are with Facebook. Any type
Right.
of like news that gets shared a lot, they're letting people know about it. But yeah, we're done about talking about Anthem. So speaking about the next game that we played,
Mm.
something that I thoroughly enjoyed, which was just a beta, and I've had more fun playing this beta than I had playing the full game of Anthem.
Oh yeah, definitely. You
Hands
took my
down.
opening line.
Dang. Yeah. So Division 2 had a open beta this past weekend, and I going into it wasn't really like I guess I was still burnt out from Anthem, and we just came off of playing Destiny 2, which I'm not like burnt off of. Like it's sort of like being it's a refreshing game at this point. But like the whole loot shooter genre, like I feel like I'm sort of like giving a break for the time being. But I was like, hey, it's a open beta. Let me give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And I actually had fun. You know,
Oh, shocker! You had fun
yeah,
on a loot shooter.
yeah, exactly. Like the like having different abilities, and then well, let's just start off with this. Like as a fundamental like just beta, I feel like they covered a lot of ground. Like they gave you the open world, they gave you a couple of story missions, they gave you a bunch of side quests. They gave you the dark zone, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought dark zone would have been like teased, and then that would have been the end of the demo. And then they also gave you a teaser of the end game, which I thought was brilliant. Like, did not see that coming whatsoever. So after you finish the main couple of missions, they say, hey, we want to give you a little taste of our end game. Here's some character builds you could choose from.
Yeah,
So
already
just
already specced out.
already specced out. So you're max level, and you have builds like custom builds on like I think there were 3 builds. You had a sniper, a crossbow, a grenade launcher, and was there one more?
Crossbow, sniper. No, I think it was just 3.
Okay, yeah. So that blew me away. Like playing the same mission, but one on a harder difficulty, and 2 with like just end game in mind. Like it felt like a different mission.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. And I mean, it felt the abilities that you got felt okay. So, okay, before I talk about like the abilities and everything, I want to make a quick mention that I think it was interesting that the mission that we were doing, because it was an in-game mission, something that takes place literally out after the campaign, the story-wise or narratively, it's after the campaign. You're doing the same mission that you've already done. Earlier in that beta, which I thought was an interesting decision, but I think totally intentional because it gives you a different feel of how different the game is. And it's not necessarily harder because you're specced out so hard. Like you're maxed out, like you've got like insane equipment and weapons. It kind of gives you like a little bit of a taste of the different combinations you can use with the gadgets and how hard you're hitting. I mean, you're hitting, I think in the campaign
Hundreds,
beta.
thousands.
Yeah, like I mean, you're hitting people for like 300,000, like with a sniper in the head. Like it's insane in the end game. So yeah, I think that aspect of it is really interesting and cool, and I could see myself like really getting into it, and it was fun. Like we actually had to be you and I played with 2 others, and it was really fun, like strategizing and saying like, oh man, I'm gonna go here and let's like we died several times trying to complete a few of the missions, and it never felt cheap.
And
It
exactly,
yeah
because it was never something that like the enemies were like bullet spongy, or like they just hit way too hard. No, like there were numerous times where we just got outplayed.
yeah exactly.
Like the AI would distract us with like a major enemy,
Hmm.
but then 2 like I want to say weaker enemies, but 2 other enemies would then like use that opportunity to like flank around us, and then get us from behind when we're not expecting them.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So that's how you do difficulty. You don't rev up everything to 11. Like you make the enemies smarter. You give and then the enemies use abilities themselves. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. It's absolutely cool. Um, Sweet, super sweet way to introduce that stuff. I mean, they really before the beta release, they kind of told us what was going to be in the open beta, which was, main campaign, DZ, Dark Zone stuff, and then end game. And it really came together very well. Like, it really does give you a taste of what every aspect of the game has to offer.
Yeah. So, thumbs up to them. I feel like they're definitely a developing team, and I guess I don't know how much Ubisoft had input in this, but Massive Entertainment, the developers, like
Hmm.
they learned their lesson from the first game. I
Yeah.
feel like they really did. Like a lot of changes that I saw that was like periodically made in Division 1, like I saw in this beta. So like creating different like builds. So like let's say if you have a build for like a certain situation, you could you could go to your menu, which was refreshing, and change out everything instantly to that loadout that you want.
Yeah, which I'm not sure how you felt about that original one, but I happen to like it quite a bit. But it just didn't keep me for very long. I just didn't at the time. I played it at launch, and the end game wasn't strong yet. I know they upgraded it after a certain point, but I'd fallen way out of it by that point. But up to maybe me playing about 20-25 hours of it, which I think is great for a loot shooter. I enjoyed it. Like, the gunplay was satisfying, the loot grind was cool while I was in it, and the Dark Zone was a novel concept I found entertaining. And it looks like they've taken, like you just said, they've taken what they've learned from that first one, and it seems like they've just tweaked it ever so slightly to just to make it a slightly better experience. And the Snowdrop engine is gorgeous. I love the way this game looks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just thumbs up to, Massive for putting out and of course, a beta demo, like there were some bugs and acknowledged those bugs, but all in
Yeah.
all, I'd say it was pretty smooth. It did its job, and I'm excited now for the 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For sure. I went from, thinking I might pick it up later to, like, after playing the beta, I'm definitely buying it as soon as it comes out.
Nice, nice. So, it's funny. I guess we past couple of weeks we've basically played the same games. So,
Yeah, and they're
to
all loot shooters,
yeah,
which I'm just realizing. Like, we're literally about to talk just about loot shooters.
yeah. So, I guess our last what you've been playing this week is we've wrapped up some stuff in Destiny 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Rod, what are your experiences with Destiny 2 Forsaken? Like we haven't even jumped into like the newer stuff yet, but like compared to what you did in like just vanilla Destiny 2, how's your jump into the new DLCs and then Forsaken?
So I enjoyed Vanilla Destiny 2. We may or may not have talked about this on a previous episode, but I mean, Destiny 2 was, in my opinion, a great improvement over the campaign of Vanilla Destiny 1, and really most stuff in Destiny 1. I would say maybe even Taken King, to a certain degree. Like, they had character development, character interactions, greater ones, actual, like, real cutscenes that were entertaining, and an actual narrative. Like, that was really cool. And and interesting mission structure as well. Forsaken has been a really fun experience. I bought it on PlayStation 4 for about $40 when they had a sale. That included the annual pass as well. So I felt like I got kind of a good deal on that. I think that's like 60 or 70 or something, MSRP. So that was cool. But it seems like they've done the Taken King thing of really retooling the game and making it, differentiating it from what was Vanilla Destiny 2, and tweaking how loot is and how it functions and operates and all the economy of the game. I mean, that's just kind of what you get with these games as a service type of experiences. Bungie has, clearly, like we were just saying with Massive and Division, seems like they have definitely taken a bunch of the feedback to heart, and it really feels like Forsaken is the best that Destiny, or the best place that Destiny has been in since the Taken King. The Curse of Osiris and Warmind DLCs that we played through, I played through for the first time. They were okay. They were fine, I guess. It wasn't like super great, but I also wasn't really expecting that. I kind of expected these short stop gaps until we got like the Comet. Comet is the code name for the big expansions that Destiny gets. Those were stop gaps for the Comet that we were going to receive with Forsaken, and the narrative through line of avenging Cade's death is fun. I mean, Cade is fine. I'm not like a huge Cade fan. I don't hate him. I don't love him. He's whatever. But like going through that motion was super entertaining, and actually seeing them kind of maybe dip one toe in the water of like trying to analyze the ramification of something like revenge was like kind of shocking to me.
It's like,
Because
what, Destiny having like some form of like a moral dilemma? Like,
yeah, exactly.
it's weird.
It's very weird coming from even Destiny 2. I think has a really basic story, and I think a lot of people were complimenting it because it had a story as opposed to Destiny 1, which didn't have much of one. And Forsaken it was really fun. They introduce a bunch of interesting characters in an interesting place, and they're all entertaining, and the mission variety is really interesting. So all of the people who you are kind of going against in this one, like you're kind of fighting mini bosses on the way up to the big boss, and all the mini bosses, like most of them have really varied fights. Like you're not doing the exact same thing. You're not just shooting something in the face. I mean, you are, but you're doing it in a slightly different way each time. And that was almost assuredly the design philosophy behind Forsaken here. This was your second time going through it, right?
Yeah, and still entertaining.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it was entertaining because like I played Forsaken when it launched, and then sort of fell off a little bit. But then coming back into it with you, like there are certain things that sort of like, I don't want to say it surprised me, but like it some things I forgot. So like I got blasted in the face a couple times, but
Yeah.
it's fun. It was fun enough to like go through with someone else. We did the refer a friend, which we
Mhm.
which we haven't like finished those missions yet. I think we have to do some Crucible matches together to finish that
Yeah.
storyline. I
Yeah.
think Crucible matches. And I think we have to do like a Nightfall.
Okay.
But the I feel like they simplified getting people into the game, which I really liked. And with this new DLC, they even made it even easier to like catch up and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. With bounties that you can acquire, and
Exactly.
you have like what are the requirements? Like do 5 strikes or something like that and kill 50 enemies.
Not even that. It's like do one strike, kill 50 enemies. They did you play a Crucible match, and it's not even win a Crucible match, it's just play the Crucible match, get 10 kills. And guess what? One of the modes this week is Mayhem, which is like every 15 seconds you're getting your super.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and like they have some other miscellaneous things like go do like two public events and like do bounties. Like really easy stuff that honestly you should be able to knock out in an hour and a half.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of the key is that they're balancing the game in such a way where like you can have not played Destiny like me since maybe vanilla and make it really easy to kind of get through a lot of the content. Because I was worried about that experience on my end. I was worried that I was going to miss something, or maybe that experience would be hampered in some way. But really, I felt that the experience has been I've had my hand not like tightly held, but like kind of guided along like the path that everyone else got to experience months ago, and that's cool. Like that's really neat, and I'm honestly I'm glad I jumped in. Like it's not something that I thought I was going to say about Destiny. I wasn't planning. I didn't have any specific plans to get back into Destiny. This was kind of like I heard how good Forsaken was. I kept hearing about how good it was, and I was like, all right, let me give it a shot, for the right price, and I'm glad I did. Like this was really cool.
Nice. So yeah, so like I said, the new DLC dropped this past Tuesday, and it's worth playing. So if you like the gamut mode, which I know some people do, some people don't, but they've added some new modes in Gambit,
Oh my god, yeah.
and yeah, and like I think that um like them rebalancing certain things in the game, like how certain weapons work, it's gonna be an interesting couple of months to see how Destiny 2 stays relevant. That's the biggest thing with Destiny is like its relevancy
Yeah,
in the market.
especially with the advent of Division 2 and Anthem. Like, I mean, games that are clearly taking the market share. I mean, I guess the verdict's still out on Anthem, how long that's going to last. But, I mean, when Anthem came out, like, there were a lot of people playing that game, and probably still will be. And those are people who might be playing Destiny instead, like, obviously Destiny, I think, is the better game, but, you never know. And I cannot believe I did not mention Gambit at all. Like, that is like one of my favorite things about Forsaken is Gambit. Like, I love this mode. So it does something that I love any game to do, which is somehow combine cooperative play and competitive play and roll it into one. It's a way to my gaming heart. Like, it's
Mhm.
something that just gets me so quickly. And the way that it's set up is really clever. You have a team of 4, and you're killing ads as they are, random enemies as they're coming through, and it's always a specific enemy. So Hive or Fallen or whatever, it's always one type of enemy. And then and everyone that you kill kind of drops motes. You pick motes of light. You pick up the motes of light, you deposit them, you bank them into a center console, and then once you get 75, a prime evil comes out, which is almost like I think maybe like a raid boss or something like that, and then you have to whittle them down. This is all happening concurrently with another team, so another team is doing the exact same thing you're doing, and you have to just do it faster than them essentially. And it's I've had some matches that are really close. There's actually some surprising strategies because players can invade and kill you during a primeval phase, and if they kill you during a primeval phase, the boss gets health back, so it makes it really tense and tight, and it's insane. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, and not only that, but they can also invade during the match too. So in
Yeah.
intervals of 25, they're able to jump into. Well, one player is able to jump over to your side, and vice versa,
Hmm.
to take you out. And if you, for the most part, when you're doing it during the match, you're typically aiming for the person that has like the most motes on them, so
Yeah.
that they could not get the motes deposited, and it'll help your team out in the long run. With the newer modes, they sort of changed it up a little bit. I haven't really read up too much on it. Have you?
A little bit. I'm only confused. Okay, so I'm kind of confused on if there are specific roles because like they have made a big deal of like Gambit Prime being more like role based. So I'm just not sure if those roles are forced upon you, like being a collector. So like most of light, going to kill people. Like, I'm just not sure
Well, yeah,
how that works.
those are all armor sets. So like
Oh, okay.
if you typically like playing a certain wave, like if you're the type of person who likes to invade, you'll have an
Mhm.
armor set that will help you out when you're invading.
Okay. And Reckoning, one of the new modes, is different than that, right? Like, that's not like a
Exactly.
Gambit thing. Okay.
It's different.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems pretty solid. I played maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours of just getting my character ready to jump into some of these modes. So I just like the overall sandbox changes so far.
Yeah.
A lot of the weapons feel like they pack a punch now. So like rocket launchers, red.
Mhm.
I think they did like a 60% buff on rocket launchers.
Jesus.
Yeah. So and then my what's not the linear rifle. I think it's the linear rifles. So pretty much the cold heart also got a buff, and that this whole time we've been playing, I've been using that as like my exotic of choice,
Right.
and it's pretty cool seeing like a weapon that I've already gravitated to getting a buff.
That is cool. That is cool, and it's quite satisfying, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I need to get some more exotics. I haven't gotten any, but I mean, I've been kind of enjoying just the game as it is currently. So I haven't like had a bunch drop for me, but I just passed level light 500, so I'm sure I'll get something soon.
Yeah, the game definitely shifted over from, throwing exotics at you to drip feeding you exotics. So you'll get one maybe, randomly, maybe once or twice a week. It's RNG basically,
Hmm.
but it definitely makes you cherish getting these exotics now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I'm liking it, man. I am
Nice.
enjoying this game.
Yeah, so um that's Destiny 2. Like we said, we played the Division 2 beta, which is coming out March 15th, and of course, you'll be hearing more about that once the game comes out. We'll give our deep dive on that one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we have I'd say it's a small news week once again. It feels like we have a couple of Nintendo stories, but we're gonna start off with Devil May Cry. Should be releasing now. If you're listening to this Friday, should be out now, and the reception for it has been pretty good. Surprise,
Yes.
surprise.
Yeah, the reviews dropped today as of this recording, and I'm looking forward to it. Did you get a chance to play the demo?
And no, I haven't. Have you?
I have. I have played the demo.
All right, what you
Um,
think?
it's very short, but it was very satisfying. I thought it was really fun. It feels uniquely Devil May Cry in only that way that that franchise can feel. And I know that might be kind of a nebulous description, but it's really, I feel like, the most appropriate one because you have the letter rating, A for awesome, B badass, C I might be cool or something. Um, I might be completely butchering that, but that's what I think I remember. And you've got your lettering system, you've got your scoring, everything is based off style. You have some completely insane combos you can make with your some of the gadgets that you have. So in the demo, you could play as Nero, who is actually missing an arm. I never played a Devil May Cry 4 all the way through, so um, I don't know why that's happening, but that kind of makes me want to go back and play that. But yeah, so in place of his arm, he actually has like a rocket hand. No, I'm sorry, not arm. Yeah, his hand is missing. Sorry. So like he has like a rocket hand that kind of can go around and it could beat people up while you're slashing at another enemy, and you can have it come back to you and finish somebody off. Like it's that kind of ridiculous absurdity that only Devil May Cry has, and it totally has the attitude. Nero's a smartass. He's a sarcastic. I don't want to say jerk, but I guess kind of jerky, a little charming maybe. He reminds you of like Devil May Cry 1 Dante, I would say,
Okay.
and or Devil May Cry 3 Dante for sure. He is definitely Devil May Cry 3 Dante. Um, and yeah, the demo ends with a brief boss battle. It's cool. It's very cool. I'm interested. The camera seems like it's kind of it's like pushed in a little bit more than normal. But it does kind of go out when you're in combat. You have like your little health, your red health guys who kind of pop out of enemies. It is very Devil May Cry 5. Like it is of that franchise. And a lot of people complained about the Ninja Theory Devil May Cry, which I wasn't a huge fan of that style and aesthetic that it went with, but gameplay wise, it was cool. But
See,
it's
I'm weird. I actually liked DMC,
yeah.
which like for me, like that was my first Devil May Cry actually going all the way through. So I
Oh,
think I
okay.
think that's why I have like that, liking towards that game,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I firmly remember playing some of the earlier Devil May Cries just like at a cousin's house or something like that. And like I think in those older games you had different styles and that's how you use the different weapons, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so DMC introduced you having all of your weapons and you using like the D-pad to switch out mid combo, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So they kind of take from that train of thought. So you can use like, well, as far as the demo goes, like, yeah, you do have your ability to like other games in that franchise. your sword, your gun, but they've also added the hand that you have with Nero. And with the hand, he also has different versions of it. So like one of them might be like a rocket hand that will like propel itself towards other enemies. Another one might be like, I think there's might be elements to it, like elemental damage. I think one is just a straight up like cold clock you can do with somebody, and they'll break. Like every single one can break. You only have a certain amount of ammo you can, quote unquote, ammo that you can use before like it will crumble on you, or you could choose to do like a huge explosion that will do bigger damage, but it will destroy your arm or your hand immediately. So like there's some cool strategy there. Like, and I liked what I played from the demo for sure.
Okay. So I think I'll give the demo a shot at some point. I mean, the game is going to be out. Um, I sort of have my funds tied up with Division and then like some other things that are coming out this month. So
And then
I'm
Sekiro.
definitely
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
but yeah, like I know for people that like action games and people that like the series in general, it's going to be a pickup for you definitely. So
Yeah.
don't let the lack of excitement that I have for it deter you from getting it. Like if you like Devil May Cry, go ahead and pick up this game because it's definitely looking like it's gearing towards like one of those like no, I'm not gonna say game of the year contenders, but like when we're talking about stuff like that or like our most favorite games of the year, this should be in that list.
Yeah, definitely. Like as some like again, having like actually played it, and I'm not I'm the only reason I'm not buying it day one is because I'm buying Division next week and then Sekiro the week after that. So like, but I definitely want to play this game. Like I'm not a giant Devil May Cry fan. I like the franchise, but I'm not like a die hard. I wasn't waiting like a decade for this game like some people were. So I was kind of like, yeah, all right, I'll pick it up at some point. No, like the game is actually really good. Like I'm looking forward to checking it out like a little bit later on.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely check that out. It's out now.
It's out
And
on Friday.
well, yeah, this is out on Friday.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're right, Chris. It is out on today, March
Yep.
8th.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, definitely check that out and then give us some feedback. Let us know on Facebook if you picked it up, what you like, what you don't like, and let's start a conversation about it.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we're gonna go ahead and sort of roll into these Nintendo stories. And Nintendo, like, man, like I love Nintendo. I love
Yeah.
Nintendo so much.
does?
They they're doing some things that are like a little different and
Mhm.
it's cool. Like I feel like with some of these stories that we're gonna talk about today, it's definitely like the good type of stories that we're gonna be talking about.
Mhm.
But to start off this Nintendo run of stories that we're gonna finish up this episode with, let's talk about Tetris 99, the Maximus Cup.
So otherwise known as Game of the Year 2019.
So Tetris 99 basically is a Tetris game slash battle royale game.
Yeah,
It's
it's a battle
a
royale.
battle royale Tetris game where
Yep.
it's you versus not was it you versus 99 other players or is it you
Yes.
versus 98 players?
I'm pretty sure it's 99. Yeah.
99? Okay.
Yeah, it's 100 people. I believe. Shit, am I wrong about that? Hold on. I thought it was 9 I thought it was 100, but it's close enough.
Okay, yeah, it's you versus a bunch of people. How about that?
Yeah.
Playing Tetris.
Yeah.
And it's online only, so but it's free to play. It's free to download as long as you have the Nintendo Switch online, which is really funny. Everyone that I've spoke to that's played this so far has like finally bought the Nintendo Switch online because of this game.
I did. I did that.
So Nintendo, you're doing some smart things right now. Like you're getting
Yes.
people to finally pick up your online service, so keep it up. So with this Maximus Cup, what they're doing is to celebrate the release of the game from March 8th through the 10th. You're pretty much trying to win as many games as you can. And after the event, the most people like I guess the 999 players who've won the most will receive 999 Nintendo Gold points, which turns out to be 10 bucks.
$10, right?
So for a free to play game, like that's actually pretty cool.
That is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm seeing a lot of like complaints about it online, but guys, remember this is a free to play game. So you're not, paying entry into this tournament. You're not paying for the game. Just do what you're already doing, which is playing the game. And if you happen to uh, you know, be part of that top 999 people, then you'll win $10.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, it's 98 others. So yeah, it is 99 people in a match.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
I I wonder if they tried the 100 and like that just completely broke it.
it just broke. They just could not access the game. Yeah. In all seriousness, if I'm not sure if I talked about this yet, but yeah, Tetris 99 is brilliant. There are so many systems that I don't fully understand yet. But like every every time I play that game, it's so interesting in terms of what like combining. I wouldn't have never in a billion years thought that combining Tetris and Battle Royale would work, but it totally does. And the systems that they have for attacking people and how you defend, like I mean, it's really really cool.
How far have you made it?
The highest I made was like 24 or 23.
Nice.
So yeah, obviously not as good as like a lot of other people out there who like can consistently get a top 10 place. I don't consider myself a particularly great Tetris player. I would say I'm pretty middling, but to make it to 23, that felt like a good accomplishment to me. I was like, all right, I'm in the top, like almost in the top fourth,
I'm
or top 25.
I'm part of that category where like if I'm ever like packing the back of a car for like a trip,
Yeah.
I'm part of that category of people who make the dad joke of, "Oh, look, I packed up everything in the car. It's a good thing I played Tetris, growing up."
Oh.
So yeah, I'm that person. So granted, like my highest ranking I think was like in the 80s or 70s or something like that. So not completely great, but like good enough where I was like, you know what, that's cool.
Right.
And I
Right.
enjoyed the game. It's fun. Really
Yeah.
stressful, but it's fun.
Yeah. I do kind of wish that you could play with other people. Make like maybe have like duos or something. That would be kind of neat. But
But how'd that work though?
you can
Like,
have. I think in other Tetris games you could play co-op with other people. Like and I think it's like you can work together to send lines to. I don't think I'm
to
talking
other
like.
to other teams?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I believe that other Tetris games have done that. I'm almost positive that they have. Like I think you could do it on Puyo Puyo. I own Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I'm pretty sure you can. Um, but yeah, no, I will look this up, but I'm pretty sure that's possible.
Well, I mean, you know how these free to play games are. They'll release the game and then like they have the content in mind, they're just gonna drip feed it to us.
Right, right. Yeah,
So,
exactly, exactly.
but hey guys, it's free, so no complaints here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so next up, uh who this next story, like I feel like we've all at some point like sat there and thought about the Nintendo Switch and like completely contemplated. It was like, yo, the Switch like in handheld mode could totally be a VR set. It could totally happen. And
Right.
guess what, guys? It's
What happened?
happening. It's finally happening.
Oh my God!
Yes. So
Give me the details.
and in the way that like when you sort of look at it, you're not completely like surprised. You're like, oh, okay, this is happening now.
Mm.
But Nintendo announced that the Nintendo Labo is going to get a new VR kit.
Mm.
So they're doing different sets. There's going to be a starter set with the blaster. That's going to be $40. And then there's going to be a complete package with $80.
Mm.
And that's going to come with the VR goggles, the blaster, a camera, an elephant, bird, and wind pedal, which I'm guessing all of these are like different modes you could do in VR.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Like, are we living in the future?
I think that I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I knew this was happening. I'm not. I'm really not. But I will say that the this is not totally surprising to me because I remember when the Labo released last year and the robot version came out, they kind of had like, it wasn't VR, but the way that it was kind of structured, where it was like the game was kind of happening like, didn't they have like not goggles, but it was like a visor or something, and it was kind of VR-ish, where like you could if you Google like a picture of how it works, it's like it's more AR than VR, but
Yeah.
it was very reminiscent of that, and that was what made me go like, huh. Now the Switch hardware is not powerful enough to produce, VR games in the sense of, I would say even a PSVR, and that's kind of on the lower end of things, but certainly not like a Vive or like or an Oculus or anything like that, like a regular Oculus Rift, not the mobile one. It might be more. Now I think that Nintendo could do like something akin to like a Gear, like a Gear VR, which is produced from, the Samsung phone. That's cool, but I mean, who doesn't want to do VR Mario Kart at the end of the day?
That would be cool. I'd say I, that's way down the way down the line.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
Yeah.
that's something we're gonna get anytime soon.
Right.
What I'm hoping out of this, which I mean, it's sort of a slippery slope because what I'm hoping out of this is them like opening it up and like letting us like use YouTube in VR or like have some sort of like watch videos and stuff in VR. But that's sort of like slides into, I don't know. When I think of like VR like that, I automatically think of like dirty videos in VR. I
Mm,
don't know why. So I think that's not what Nintendo wants to do.
probably not. Or
Yeah,
at least they're not going to advertise it.
exactly. So I don't know. It's something I'd try out. Like I said, the starter kit is $40, and a lot of times you could sort of find these. I won't say at a deep discount, but like you might be able to find this for a sale, or might be able to combine coupons or something like that. So for $40 as like a base set, that's not bad. And then if you later on want to get like the other attachments, you could
Mhm.
buy them at $20 each. So all in all, I don't think that's not too bad.
No, that's not bad. I think that hits the Nintendo, uh, you know, it, it hits their necessity to be affordable and be, safe for kids. And yeah, I think that's hitting all the right notes for them.
I think at the end of the day, it's them hitting a check mark of something that they wanted to do with it.
Right.
Something that I feel like we all knew that they wanted to do and had a feeling about it, but here it is and it's happening next month too. So let me pull up a date. It is April 12th.
Which
So right
which
around the corner.
yeah, it's right around the corner, and I think that it's indicative of what I mean. It's indicative of what they want to do with it. It's coming out so soon, not much fanfare. I mean, I think it'll get about the right. I think it'll get the support that like I think Labo got, which I think it'll get a really big push, like really like a week or two before, and then I think the dust will probably settle on it for a while. I don't know if this is something that there's going to be supported super super long term. Like I don't think that this is going to be showing up in directs anytime soon.
Nah, not really.
Yeah. But I mean that's speculation on my part. That's just a feeling I have about it. Just given how this announcement was kind of like just made with zero fanfare. Um, I just don't know if that's gonna happen really.
Yeah. So closing out the show this week, we're gonna last story with Nintendo, but from the Wall Street Journal, there's a report that went out that Nintendo is apparently toning down their microtransactions in their mobile games, which
Mm.
is like we hear stories all the time from like EA, from Activision, and how much like they're abusing the whole microtransaction. Like you hear microtransaction, everyone gets mad. It's sort of refreshing hearing like Nintendo say, "Hey, like, yo, chill, relax. We don't need that much of it in our games."
Okay, so there's a few things about this really. I think one of them is that I wonder what that would mean. Okay, so I wonder what that means for something like really for both of their games, now that I'm thinking about it. So with Super Mario Run, follow me here on this. So with
Mhm.
Super Mario Run, they have, it's not really a microtransaction. It's a you you get the first world for free, and the following like 3 or 4 worlds or whatever, you pay like a $10 or however much it is, $10 or $15, and you get the whole thing. Like it's a buy in or don't. Like there is no, I don't believe, unless I'm wrong about this, I don't believe there's any microtransactions there. So what does that mean for Mario? Does it mean anything for Mario Run? I doesn't seem like it to me. That seems like a lump sum, like one single amount. What is that? Now with Animal Crossing, the conversation is a lot more interesting because that entire game is functionally a free to play game, and there are a ton of microtransactions within that. You can buy coins or whatever the currency is in that game. You can buy coins to basically make the timer go not exist anymore. It's a what are those games, Chris? Why am I blanking?
Gotcha.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it is literally. It's like like a gotcha game where I never really got that until now. Gotcha. Wow, we gotcha money. Wow. Um. Uh. Sorry, it's been a long week. So with Animal Crossing, I am very interested in how that's going to be structured, because how are they going to dole out the time necessary to wait for things like furniture to be made? Because every time you make something or you choose to, like, animals will say, "Hey, I want a lazy boy or something, like a blue lazy boy," and you go to the shop and you're like, "Hey, make this for me." It's gonna take, all right, 3 days to get made. Like, okay, if I don't want to wait for the 3 days, I pay, and it's there right now. How does this affect something like Animal Crossing? I have no idea. I'm genuinely asking. I don't know.
I mean, it sort of like I don't want to say scratches the itch, but like it for people that don't want to wait, they have the exposable income. They'll say, all right, I don't feel like waiting. Bam, I could put like the extra dollar so I can speed this up or whatever. But funny, like, little side note from this article is that Super Mario Run, like you said, was free to try, and then $10 for the full game. Then you had uh, Animal Crossing, and no, you had Fire Emblem Heroes, which came out a year later, and that one was free to play. But then you had a ton of microtransactions that actually brought in 5 times more money than Super Mario Run.
Hmm. That's surprising. Well, actually, maybe that's not surprising to me, since the Mario Run game is, like I said, the one fee that you pay, as opposed to Animal Crossing, where like you can continue to give them money over and over and over again.
Yeah,
You know.
and apparently the game that came out last year, Dragalia Lost, it's there, but it's not like intrusive. So like you can play through the game and not really have to worry about paying money like that.
Mm.
So as long as and same thing with Fire Emblem Heroes. I played a little bit of that, but every time I've played it or picked it back up, it's been really generous for my time. Like, it would throw heroes at me. There'd be a bunch of events where I could summon particular heroes. So
Hmm.
I feel like the Nintendo games, like, if you put the time into it, it respects that, and it'll still give you stuff. You don't have to be forced to put real world money into it.
Hmm.
So I think that hopefully with I think Dr. Mario World and Mario Kart coming out this year, like, if those games if they're successful as well, like, they could, I don't know, sort of change up the market space, show that you really don't need to nickel and dime everything or charge $60 for a game and have microtransactions.
Huh.
I mean, look at what happened with Fortnite. Fortnite went free to
Right.
play, introduced like, they jumped on a popular mode at the time, Battle Royale, and I feel like Fortnite really helped out Epic. Epic, wasn't a company that was struggling. They have the Unreal Engine 4, so like, they're making money off of people using that engine.
I
So
mean,
I don't think they're ever hurting for money, but it definitely, like, helped them out a lot.
I mean, Fortnite it's weird. It's a weird case because that game is still it's free to play, but it isn't, because the two games, like they're two separate games, really. Like the battle royale stuff is to me a separate game than Save the World. And Save the World still, it costs money. Like to play that, you need to pay I don't even know how much it is, but you have to pay however much Save the World is, 20-30 bucks, um, to even access any of that content. Whereas if you just want to play battle royale, there's no there's no.
But that's the thing. Like that, the majority of people that play Fortnite, they're not playing it for Save the World.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think this type of business model, like it's over the next couple of years we'll see some tweaks. But look at what's happening with Apex right now. Apex Legends, within their first month of being live, 50 million users are playing the game.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, and like I think pretty soon they're launching their first season pass. So like they're doing pretty well with themselves. Free to play. I could see at this time like other developers saying, "Hey, we got to jump onto this ship. Let's put out a Battlefield, free to play battle royale or something like that, and see if we could take some money too." Everyone's gonna want their piece of the pie.
Yeah.
It's similar to what we saw in like the mid 2000s, early 2000s, with Call of Duty. Call of Duty hit the world by storm with with the first person gameplay, and at that time everyone was like, "Hey, we have to make our first person shooter game to sort of mirror Call of Duty to take that piece of the pie."
Yeah. Which, I mean, is not surprising. We knew that this was coming a few years ago when Nintendo even announced this initiative. Now, Super Mario Run was a weird way to do it because it wasn't the traditional, free to play kind of model, but I think we're going to see more stuff like Pocket Camp, like Fire Emblem Heroes, like a lot of those type of games. And like I said, I'm very curious how exactly they plan to stop or reduce the amount of microtransactions, because I think something reducing them kind of, it requires a retooling of what they already have in some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if the gameplay is fun enough and a lot of the stuff that you could buy is cosmetic, like you're not having to buy like extra slots or save slots or anything like that. I pick up the game, and like I'm a consumer where like if I feel like I'm having enough fun with the game and it's taking up enough of my time, I wouldn't mind, especially if it's free to play. I wouldn't mind putting in a couple of bucks.
Right. Yeah.
So let's definitely see what the future is going to hold. Hell, this time next year will probably, be something completely different. Well, not something completely different, but I'm pretty sure this method will be fine tuned and will sort of be, be at a different place.
Yeah, I think so. I think all we can really do is wait. I'm assuming that they're going to really kick this initiative in, like you said, with Dr. Mario World, and hopefully we see Mario Kart later this year. I mean, that would be cool to have on my phone, but we'll see.
We will see. So with that, that's major stories of this week so far. Any major thoughts? Any closing thoughts, Rod? How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I'm feeling good about the month, man. This is going to be the first month that I think like a bunch of releases are going to start hitting us. We had Kingdom Hearts, we had Anthem, like a lot of these big games kind of spread out. Although I think the end of February had a bunch of games, but I think I only got Anthem. Smart me. But I think this is the month, March. We've got tons and tons of games starting to come out. I'm hearing about indies releasing that are really cool, like Ape Out. We were talking about that before we started recording. Like, there's a ton of cool stuff out there that I'm really looking forward to getting into.
Yep. So, same here. Division 2 is going to be fun. I know you said you were gonna pick up Sekiro, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts about that. But guys, let us know what you're picking up this month. Leave some comments on Stitcher, I think on SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yo, guys, we're trying to be everywhere.
Yep, we're on Spotify.
We're on Spotify now, so definitely check us out. Tell your friends, share, like, subscribe.
Yeah,
we really appreciate all the love that you guys keep giving us. This past week has been pretty slow on streams, but we are definitely going to pick it back up next week. I think we'll definitely do some Division streams, so you'll probably see us over the weekend do some streams, or possibly going into that next week do some Division streams. And I feel like I want to do a Destiny stream sometime soon too.
Yeah, always fun.
Yep. But with that is another week of Should I Play That? And I don't know, I'm just happy to be here, guys. Just happy to be here.
That's good, man. Good. We're just here so we don't get fined.
Yep. So with that, guys, enjoy your week. Eat your vegetables, take your vitamins, and stay beastly. Peace out.